So welcome to this episode of Rumble. My guest today is Baburajan Venkatraman. I'm giving his full name. He hates to be called that because he told me I'm known as Babu. But what's unique about him is he is an IT professional, not really turned farmer, but who's got great interest in farming. And that's a very rare combination, IT with farming. So welcome to the show, Babu.
Thanks a lot, Madhav.
You did briefly tell me that you got into this thing only out of interest. Was it only interest or did you own land?
No, I am a first generation farmer. So
Okay.
way back in 2008, one of my known colleagues, ex-colleagues, contacted me, described about agriculture, and suddenly something in me clicked.
So when you said colleague, so you were colleague where? You colleagues
My colleague in Asia Brown Bowery. So I worked in Asia Brown Bowery for some years.
All right.
I thought it was destiny to be in farming.
And he was somebody who was with you in ABB.
He was with me in
No
ABB.
previous connection other than that.
No previous
And
connection.
you just happened to talk about farming.
Exactly.
Okay. So what is the next thing that happened?
Next thing happened is we quickly zeroed in on, what is the area farmlands are available. So we were able to get farmlands near Thorayur in Trichy.
Okay.
So I got a sizable tract, 10 plus acres.
All right.
And then we started.
So how did that happen? To get land so convenient, where you were looking for? Was farming not successful there? Why were farmers selling land in the first
Exactly.
place?
These are all completely dry lands.
Okay.
So the erstwhile farmers could not sustain agriculture.
You mean generations of farmers failed in producing anything in that area?
Exactly. We
What's-
had only wild elephant grass grown in that area.
Okay.
Nuna is another type of tree which grows out of winterland. So that was full wild forest area.
Okay.
So we purchased that. We spent time and effort in developing that.
Okay.
It's a black cotton soil, and today we are.
But why was it
able to
considered,
cultivate.
if you did all that in such a short time, why was it considered fallow land in the first place? I mean, why was nobody using it in growing things?
Yeah.
Ignorance?
Shortage of natural resources,
Like water, right?
like water, rains.
Okay. Oh, it's in a rain shadow
It's a rain
area?
shadow. Yeah, it's not a. It's not
What
a
kind of
rich
day?
area.
What kind of rains do you get there? I mean, when you talk in terms of days of rain.
Yeah,
in a year.
in a month, in the November, December, January are the rainy seasons.
Northeast monsoon.
Northeast monsoon.
So you'll get a week or so of.
That's it. Maximum 2-3 weeks of rain.
But aren't you
in a year.
close to some river down there in that?
Kaveri is there,
Yeah.
but it's around 30 to 40 kilometers
Oh, it's
from
too
the
far.
place where I am.
There's no canals bringing water down from
Not at all.
into your area.
Not at all.
So what are traditional occupation of people there?
Traditional occupation was farming.
Farming rocks looks like.
They used to do rain-fed crops a lot.
Okay.
Tapioca is a crop which is grown predominantly, and then red corn and maize corn. These are the
Okay.
crops which
They
is
don't
grown
require much
predominantly.
water. Is that what it?
Yes, they don't require much water, and maize corn is typically around 90 to 120 days crop. So
Okay.
it gets cultivated during the season.
So one crop a year, is that?
One or two at the most.
So people are poor
Yes,
or not really poor, but
they are poor.
they are poor.
They are poor.
And so and this is their only source of livelihood.
This is the only source of livelihood.
That's amazing. So and then how did you guys pull off what sounds like a miracle? And you did a lot of farming.
Yeah, so touch wood, I have some money to spend on agriculture. So
Oh,
agriculture is
IT
not
mo-
my
IT
main
mo-
profession.
IT money going into agriculture.
Exactly. So I have a main profession. So that profession helps me in investing into agriculture.
Okay.
And I also follow a little bit of local agricultural practices.
All right.
I have taken professional advice. I have called people who are locally doing successful agriculture in that area. I have also engaged with professional agricultural people.
Okay.
And what best suits to that particular area.
Their
so I
best
started
practices.
implementing. Yes.
Okay.
I took a combination of the latest technology, combination of what is native.
So do you see landless labor there, or are they all people with land but don't know how to run it?
They're a combination of both. Agriculture is very fragmented ownership in the village where I'm engaged with.
Okay.
So a lot of people do come and work in my farm, even though they own their own lands.
farm. Okay.
Exactly.
But that's a tradition of farming labor, isn't it? That you work in your own farm, and when you need help, your neighbors come and join you. So
Exactly.
That's a tradition.
That's a traditional way. It still continues.
Okay. Has NREGA affected you?
Big time. Big time. We don't get laborers the time and the period we wanted.
Okay, so if you happen to be a laborer, they would probably be happy with NREGA, but you as a farm owner or somebody operating a farm don't think it's the greatest thing that has happened.
Exactly, because you don't get labor when you actually want to do an agricultural work.
Okay, I mean, is it wage inflation or what is it? What has actually happened?
Two things. One is they have to come and work in the farm.
Yes.
I'm not sure how it is in the NREGA.
Okay.
I think the wages are guaranteed irrespective of the work.
That's true. But only a limited, 100 days a year or something like that.
Exactly. So the crop.
So the time when you need them, they're probably
Yes.
digging ditches or something.
Exactly. That is the issue. The time is crucial. If it rains or before you can say that the northwest monsoon is going to hit in a week's time, you have to do some preparation.
Yes.
Or post which you have to do some harvesting, and if you don't do harvest, then you have perishable goods.
True.
It has a big impact.
So aren't you prepared with some mechanical...
Exactly. So we have mechanization of agri also big time in the area where I do farming. So we have power weeders where it is substituted for harvesting corn.
So all that bending over and plucking weeds are history?
Yes.
You don't need them.
We
It
don't
really
need them.
picks everything out of the ground?
It picks everything. The corn can be harvested with a machine, not an issue.
Yeah, harvesting I know, but I mean this DVDing and all that?
So for deweeding also we have tillers, we have hand moving weeders,
Okay.
we have bigger equipment and tractors, so that helps us a lot. Actually.
So some of the machines are part manual, part mechanical, or is it entirely mechanical?
Yeah, there are machines of lower power capacity where you have to drive down, you have to push it through with the hand.
Okay.
High-end mechanisms are driven by tractors.
And these have to be owned by the farmers? Or
Not necessary. There are multiple channels of ownership. One is you can get a certain subsidized rate if you are a local farmer, you want to buy the equipment.
Okay.
Banks do give loans. Or guys like me who don't want to own any assets there, we take it on rent. On
there are
hourly
agencies...
basis. There are direct people who drive these equipments and make a living.
Oh,
so I
it's
contact
like
them
a
directly.
taxi driver, he drives this.
Exactly.
So all you have to do is just
Call him.
book him and...
Book him and call him, and
turn
then over
up.
a period of time there is a loyalty and a relationship you develop with that. You tell him that, hey guy, you have to come and do this for me, and then they just come and do it for you.
And it doesn't require any additional labor? Or it does?
It requires additional labor, sometimes in guiding the machinery properly so
Okay.
that the trees don't get damaged.
Yeah.
Or once when corn is cut and it's fallen on the
So
farm,
can you as a big time, I would say big time, a farmer with reasonable size, leave it to these professionals to do it when you're not there, or
Exactly.
do you have to be there?
Exactly. I operate out of Bangalore. This farm is 300 kilometers away from my home. I do mandatorily one visit in a month, sometimes two visits in a month.
Oh.
I do 2 phone calls every day. Morning I set the targets, and evening I review what is done, hits and misses for the day.
Wow.
And week on week we keep on doing
You got
this.
an Excel sheet with this, that and the other. and
Exactly.
You fill up all
Exactly. All my IT competency and professional culture and what I have learned over a period of corporate life, I have put into it. I have a quarterly plan, I have a daily plan, I have a weekly plan, and we go on, we stay on course.
Fabulous. Does your family get involved in it?
Exactly. So my wife and my daughter, they are also big time into this. This is one good positive pastime we all have.
Okay.
We always review, what is to be done next, or what crop grew well, what is the reason, should we replicate, or what crop did not grow well, and what should be the corrective measures we need to do to make it okay. Yeah.
So do you review it with your fellow farmers in the sense
Yes.
other people come and see what you're doing? Do they come and ask you,
Yes.
Babu, how did you do this? How did you do that?
Yes.
They
yes.
do?
We do
So
that.
you're probably one of those. It looks like that the kind of practices he puts into his farm, being an IT professional, will be a big lesson for the local farmers who probably think they know everything, but they maybe not so cool. We'll find out. How did he find all these things out in the short time? I think Mr. Wikipedia probably helped him. So we'll find that out.
Sure.
Okay, so just come back to where you started. You're a self-made farmer. In other words, you can't blame God for whatever.
Correct.
You did everything yourself.
Yes.
But it still requires either inspiration or somebody coming and prodding you generally.
Yeah.
How did it happen in your term? How did you get into farming?
Yeah. So once when I zeroed in on the land, myself and my ex-colleague, we started discussing about what should be the next step.
Okay.
So then we started something very basic, fundamental. We need a place to operate, and then we need to have water. That's
Yes.
the first thing, because this is a dry area, so we need to have water. So I built a small house there with the very basic functionalities. Whenever I go there,
How much does the house cost you to build?
the house costed me around 8 lakhs Indian rupees.
Oh, 8 lakhs.
8 lakhs.
So
I put
it was
a proper foundation, pile
substantial
foundation,
house in that case.
substantial housing.
All right.
That
What,
used to
2
be
bedrooms, something?
No, it's just an open house,
Okay.
an open kitchen, so with very basic restroom facility, etc.
Okay.
A family of 2 families can go and stay there
All right.
over a weekend. I have all facilities. You can cook there, and you
Okay.
can,
I mean, bedrooms and
Exactly.
baths and all that. Okay.
Very true. And then next thing was water. So we started identifying, calling the diviners. You have to find
you
out
did?
water.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very interesting experience for me.
Diviners hang out a sign saying, what a diviner. How did you find him?
All local word of mouth.
Okay.
They told me the so-and-so person, he identifies water. So we call him. I used to spend time. There are very local innocuous methods to find water.
Tell me one.
Yeah. So they used to take a coconut.
Okay.
And then, the coconut used to rotate. And depending upon the rotation intensity, they used to predict water will come in so-and-so
How
depth.
does the coconut rotate? Means what? You just leave it on the floor?
You leave it on the floor.
And it starts to spin?
Start spin. Then there is another method where they come out with a plant and the plant starts vibrating. It starts rotating.
Okay.
So based upon the number of rotations, the diviner says that you will find water in a particular place.
Okay.
So sometimes it is successful,
Is
sometimes
it
it is
all
not successful.
mumbo jumbo? Or you think there's something behind it? Or a mixture of belief and...
Really don't know because there was no other way in which I could locate water. So we took a chance and saw around 3 places. One places we tried, I
What
didn't
you were
get
doing?
water.
Borewell?
We did a borewell. So the second identified spot was successful.
Okay.
So we got water beyond 500 feet. We're lucky to get water beyond the 500 feet. There are a lot of challenges in getting a connection from TNEB. Finally, we made it through. So we got the power connection. The first signs from the day I started into agriculture to the time I got water, it was more than a year.
Oh, so it's a long process.
Long process.
I mean, for you, it was a long process.
For everybody, it's a long process because there is a certain documentation you got to go through. There's a lot of governmental touch points what you have to cross.
Really? I thought anybody can be a farmer. Doesn't require a degree.
Unfortunately, it's not so. So there's the
But
documentation.
tell me, what does the government want out of you when you want to become a
Government
farmer?
looks at the genuinity, whether you're in farming.
It's your land and you can do what the hell you feel
Exactly.
like.
So they know it's your land. Then I have to call the local village assistant officer, VAO.
Is that for bribes?
Yes and no. You can't beat the system. Okay. Because your passion overtakes you. You want to do something
So you
different.
pay. Okay.
There's certain incidental expenses. You get on with it. Okay.
Okay.
So, but a normal farmer cannot do that part. Okay. The next part is identify what are the crops you need to grow.
Okay.
We had an idea by seeing the local area
Surrounding farms.
Surrounding farms. We found tapioca has grown big time, sunflower grown big time, cotton has grown big time. So this is the crops what we decided to start
So
with.
it looks like a kind of, what do you call this, business? I mean, not business, I mean, all cash crop area, not really going to
Not
rice.
a cash crop, you can say. There are short-term crops area. Okay.
So not like paddy and all
not
that.
like paddy and all
Yeah,
that.
so these
because
are-
the water availability is at stake.
Poor, okay.
Very poor. Okay. So we started growing this, and then some crops turned out good in the first cycle. Many crops did not turn up good because there's no strength in the soil.
Okay.
So then in the next step was
Oh,
how to
then what
enrich
about
my
this,
soil.
this card? Did you get yourself one of these cards that the government says you get a
I
soil
never
analysis?
even I never even attempted that.
Or you didn't hear it at that time?
I heard about that,
Okay.
but I didn't have the time to do all
Okay,
that.
so you didn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't do it. So then the next, there were some learnings in the first cycle. We found that we need to enrich the soil a little bit. I engaged the professional consultant. So then we did a soil study. We took a soil sample and then we got it analyzed. Similarly,
Where did all that happen?
I took those samples to Bangalore. There is a lab in Bangalore.
Soil analysis.
Soil analysis. Then it talks about the pH quality in the soil. It also says which are the crops which can grow in the soil.
Okay.
So the next stage was from the
You're
first.
getting more organized.
Exactly. So
Okay.
first was trial by error. Next was we became a little bit scientific. We collected data. Then we said what we can cultivate or what we should cultivate. And then we moved into what we should cultivate. So an interesting stuff what we do is we did in the October month, we did a cropping of sunflower. And then the previous day I visited the farm in the evening and everything was fantastic. I had a very big size of sunflowers.
Ocean of yellow.
Ocean of yellow flowers.
That's very
And I had a
beautiful.
very peaceful sleep that day night. I was thrilled. Hey, Babu, you have done a great job. Next day morning, myself and my farm supervisor, we go to the same field. There is no yellow stuff there. It's full of green. I asked Kansami, what happened? He's my supervisor there. And we found some 500 parrots.
So that was what was become green. Or
That
sitting
became
on
green.
the flower.
That became green. All the dreams what we had of harvesting sunflower and making some decent money, everything just went into
So they come to
there.
eat the seeds, the
They
sunflower
come and eat
seeds.
the seeds. And we tried local stuff. We burst crackers. We took a plate and made some lot of noise, but nothing happened.
You
So,
should threaten them by calling the local MLA and say, you know what I'll do to you? My MLA will come.
yeah. So then after a day, I told my farm people, just leave it. Leave it to nature. Let parrots have their way. So no problem. So the surprising part is, after this, we did not do any harvest. Everything was taken by the parrots. 2 months down the line, it was in October, November, we had good rains. And in February, whatever we lost to the Parrots, they came up on their own, and whatever money we
the
spent,
seeds had fallen in the ground
seeds had fallen, and they had come on their own and
germinated,
and then we made a harvest, and we didn't enter into a loss. Whatever we spent, we got it back. So this is one lesson learning, and when we dwelled a little bit deeper why it happened, we realized that we were the only farmers who did sunflower in that season, where the rest of the community grew corn.
So your ignorance actually paid off eventually.
Eventually.
All right. So we want to come and find out what about the cash crops that grow in that area. Is it something that anybody can walk into, or is there more to than just buying land and taking a chance on? We'll find out. So when you started going into it and you went straight away what appears to be cash crops, I mean, at least something that you can make money out of, and which didn't work in the very beginning. But later on, you've also started growing vegetables. With the growing vegetables also presupposes that there is a marketing network, so you can take the vegetables somewhere. Was it all there in your area?
Yes. So we do have a proper selling place.
Okay.
Whatever vegetables.
Like a mandi, as they call it, you have.
The local market is good enough.
Okay.
You can sell it and you can make a decent money out of it. But the only thing is the price fluctuates a lot. So.
But who buys it locally? There must be all farmers like you.
Yeah, they're local vegetable buyers.
Oh, he's a dealer in vegetables.
He's a dealer in vegetables, and some people run their own vegetable shops.
Okay.
So he does buy from us and he sells it. The only vagaries is there is still no protection for the farmer from the price variance. It all depends on the season. So
you don't have a cooperative, farmer cooperatives where they
farmer cooperative societies are there, but they are yet to play an impactful role. We do have this mandis or whatever sandai, what is called in our place.
Yes.
They do operate, but the price variance, the farmer is still not.
But you're a techie. Don't you have connectivity to the big cities to find out what the going price is and all that?
Yeah, but I know what the price is, but I don't have control of the price. Okay. I know today that ladies finger a kilo will cost around 40 rupees a kg. I don't know to the next week
in Russell Market.
In Russell Market, the next week not in my place in Thorayor.
Okay.
Okay. So there is no predictability of what is the price.
And is there a huge rip-off in the intermediaries? Do they take off a huge chunk, or is it
I am told it happens, but I have still not experienced. On the other hand, to see the positive side, I grow cotton also as well.
Okay.
And cotton auction is very transparent. We go to Namakkal. Okay. So there is a place where you go and spread your cotton. I have witnessed it myself. Okay. And then, there is an auction.
It's fair and square.
It's very fair and square. The government tells you, okay, this is the quality of cotton. This is a kilo per cotton. He gives a completely typewritten stuff and the money is given.
Are you expected to sell a certain percentage to any particular body, government body?
Nothing like that.
Open market?
Open market.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these vegetables, you said they go far away to?
Yes. The vegetables basically goes to nearby places like Trichy, or they go to Namakkal. There are pretty towns nearby.
So are these all being kind of quantified? I mean, again, I'm not saying these words only because you're in the IT business. Did you quantify any of these things? Have you made a kind of little program which can actually tell you next year what should be my plan of action? And what would I actually make?
I am evolving towards that.
Okay.
So it takes around 5 to 6 years. Agricultural, I have realized, is a long haul. It is not that, it's everything is made to a plan. I do discuss within my family where you say that agriculture is so many factors contributed into one particular factor. It could be a 1 or a 0.
Okay.
So you don't know what it is. So if the rain
too many
variables, ultimately it gets multiplied by a factor.
Has your admiration for farmers gone up multifold, considering that you're a farmer now? Now you understand what those people have been going through with.
Very true. My heart lies with the farmer. Yeah. I know the hardships what a farmer goes through.
What would you ideally want now that you've been part of them, and you say somebody comes to you and says, "Babu, tell us, give us a wish list. 2-3 things that you would like to have implemented straight away by the government." What would that be?
I would like agriculture to be given the industry status.
What does that mean actually?
Yeah, so private parties or interested parties should be able to come into and do agricultural. There should not be any entry barriers.
Okay.
In many states, a normal citizen cannot buy agricultural land.
Oh, okay.
And the government should, ideally, my wish list
open it up.
Open it up. You open it up to industry. You make it as free as possible. Of course, there should be certain policies and frameworks in which an individual should operate. But the government should take over and provide the facilities. And for example,
why do you think they kept it closed all this while? Was it actually a protecting, an idea to protect them, or was it just to exploit them?
I think it was in historical reasons. We had this Land Sealing Act where you cannot possess a land beyond a certain acreage.
No, that actually came as a response to the zamindari that they used to own miles and miles of land.
They're all
so to
more
break
than
them
fif-
up,
yeah.
they made.
We are still
land
with
ceiling.
archaic laws. We are more than 50, 60 years.
How is it in the place where you are? Do you have any limitations on what you can own?
I am still, I have to comply with the Urban Land Ceiling Act.
Urban, considering you're in the middle of nowhere.
In the Land Ceiling Act, okay? I cannot hold land.
Like tomorrow somebody comes and says, here, Babu, take my 20 acres.
I think I can't do that.
You can't.
You can't do
Whose
that.
permission do you need to grow?
If it is less than 20 acres, I don't think there's any issue. You can buy the land and then you can do. But if it is more than 20 acres, I think that there are certain compliances, legal compliances, what you have to go through.
But is there anything, oppressive about those regulations? I mean, I have not read it. I don't even know where to go and read it. Do you know where to go and see?
I have heard about this. When I go for the land registration, they do check this. They do ask me, do you own many more lands? The registrar office has the records of the people who have the lands.
Okay.
So, they do all these basic checks.
So, I mean, they don't stop you from buying anymore. Or do they have
In Tamil Nadu, you can buy a land. You can buy an agricultural land. In Karnataka, I am told that you
Yeah,
cannot
I
buy
know
land.
of the situation. They have to keep fudging it or pretending to be from farmer stock. Say, I was a farmer in Kerala, I was a farm here, there, therefore I will continue farming.
Yes.
Not right. But here, at
In
least,
Tamil Nadu, you can buy a farmland.
you can.
It's not
So,
an issue.
and land prices, are they again cartelized by the owners?
I think it's more of a demand supply.
That's all.
More of demand supply.
Just like a
the
market.
willingness of the seller to
No
sell.
different from
and
buying an
willingness of buyer.
apartment or a house, it's all the same.
Exactly. I don't think there's any hoarding takes place. Of course, there's a lot of real estate speculation which happens. People are able to hold on to their lands. They continue to hold on, but it is unproductive.
And with these modern technologies like remote sensing, satellite sensing and all that, do you get more information or is it possible for you to get more information without going to the government? Is it accessible to you individually?
Not yet.
Not yet. I believe ISRO or Space Research, I don't know which body it is, they do allow farmers and bodies like that to access their remote sensing.
I have heard about it,
information.
but it has still not reached me or my local farming community.
But if
that
you did
village.
get it, what would you be looking for? Remote.
I'll be looking at basically availability of water.
That's the fundamental.
That's the fundamental thing what I look at. Whether rain is
So
predictable and coming or water is available below.
So
the earth.
will we always think we'll be a rain-fed agriculture, or is there better ways of doing it? Do you think we should?
Two things are possible. India, all said and done, is still dependent upon
Monsoon.
rain, monsoon. The next is your predictability. Yeah, you do spend some money and invest in a borewell. You get power. You should have water as well. Because, putting even a 500 feet of a borewell, it costs around 50 to 60,000 rupees, which a normal farmer, it's very difficult to afford.
But he should be able to recover that 50,000 if he gets that water, no?
Maybe it will take 3 years.
Okay, so it will be the loan and other considerations.
Exactly.
Like that. But the general level of living standards in your area where you have your farm, is this still abysmal, or you see an improvement through farming? Farming communities are.
The huts are getting replaced with cement blocks.
They are.
Yes. Okay. Swachha Bharat is a good campaign.
Okay, but is that happening? The toilets are being built?
Toilets are being built, but we are much way behind is my assessment.
In usage?
In usage as well as availability, it should be done at a much accelerated pace.
And it can be done?
It can be done.
And farmers are organized in each area?
Not the farmer, the local municipality has to get in and get this done. They have to do this.
Political parties, do they play a part in any of these things?
I see a lot of flags. I see a lot of noise on meetings and tables around the farm, but I have not yet seen any impact on the.
You see any of the political parties dirtying their hands? You haven't?
No. Everybody is very.
They give
active
good
in
advice
election.
anyway.
They give good advice. There's a lot of campaigning which goes on, but I don't see any big difference to the fundamental farmer at the
So
ground
basically,
level.
the farmer's got to work it out on his own. He's
Very
still
true.
a standalone businessman
Very true.
in a different field. That's all.
Very
so
true.
thanks, Babu, for coming.
Thank you.
Lovely talking to you. In fact, you're the first farmer I've ever talked to, and I hope to get more of you to get a little more broader idea of what's happening in our country.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Madhav.
Thank you.
Yeah.